It's time now to have a look at some basic calculations. Before I do that, I want to just go into the memory allocation just a wee bit more, and variables in particular. I've produced this table just in a Word document to help explain what's going on in the background whenever you declare a new variable in a programming language. And I'm going to try and make this fairly basic. Assume that these are addresses in memory. So just these values here, they're 16-bit binary values going from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Alright, they don't mean anything, they're just made up. But if you wanted to store a value of an integer into a memory location, you wouldn't want to have to try and remember what the memory address was. So we have this notion called a variable, which is basically, let's say in modern terms, it's just really an alias. In other words, a more friendly name for a memory location. So if I wanted to create an integer, let's call it number, and let's say I want to put the value 21 into it. Well, within my program, if I says int number equals 21, essentially that's what's happening. From now on, if I want to print out the contents of that memory location, I can just print out the contents of number. So number and that memory location essentially mean the same thing. Later on, you'll see when we're talking about the contents of memory as opposed to a memory address on a topic called pointers. Again, you'll hear it referred to as by reference and by value. So at this stage, we don't need to get into that. The easiest way to just look at it is that is an alias to that. So I'll go back to the program. I'm just going to do something relatively simple. I'll delete the code that we had there before. Of course, keeping in the pressing the key to continue in the read key just to make things handier. I'm going to create an integer. Just use the example that we were using a minute ago. So I'll create an integer called number and I'll set it equal to 21. I'll create another integer and I'll call it divider. And I'll not give it any initial value. And what we're going to do here is we're going to basically get the user to enter a divider. In other words, some value that we're going to divide into number. And I'll show how you can get both the remainder and the actual divider. So the number of times the number that the user entered goes unevenly. Being able to take the remainder in a programming language, as you'll see soon, is really, really handy. So let's give a message to the user. So we do console.write. What do we want to write? Well, just some basic message. I'll say, please type a number, let's say 2 divide into 21. And of course you should always give a full message and press enter. And I'll leave, let's say, a bit of a colon at the end and a space as well. And we finish with the semicolon. We now want to read in whatever the user typed, and we want to store it in the divider. So divider is going to equal, and remember it comes in as a piece of text, so we want to convert it to an integer. So divider equals convert dot to, and we're going to go within 32. And essentially we want to convert anything that's in console dot, so whatever we read from the console until there's the enter key is pressed. So we now should have our value. So if I'll do some basic output. I'll do console dot write okay, open their brackets and open their quotes, and I'm seeing this version 2013 of Visual Studio, it puts on the closing quotes and the closing brackets for you. I'm used to it the other way actually, so it's actually a bit of a nuisance, but I suppose I'll get used to that as well. So I'm going to take a couple of new lines. I'll put in a placeholder that's going to basically, well, for me anyway, hold the original number. And I'll say, so that number, which will be 21, divided by, and it'll be the user's number, so it's going to be another placeholder. So divided by 21, divided by whatever user enters, equals, and I'll put another placeholder for the result, and yet another one for the remainder part of the result. So we have 4 placeholders in total, and they've got the indexes 0, 1, 2 and 3. And what we must do now is put the values that we want to appear in our sentence. We must also put them in the same order as the placeholders are. So the first one we want is the original number. So it's number, comma, divider, comma, and then this one here is going to be number, and we could do the calculation all in here, divided by divider, comma, right, and the final one is number, and again we're going to divide it by the divider, but it's the remainder we want this time, not the actual whole number division, and for that we use the percent symbol, divider. And we finish that with our semicolon. So number will go into position 0, divider will go into position 1, the result of this calculation will go into 2, and the result of that calculation will go into 3. So we run that and have a look at the output that we're getting. So please type a number to divide into 21. So if we do a couple of samples, so let's say 4, so that should go in 5 times the remainder 1, and here we have 21 divided by 4 equals 5 remainder 1. Press indicate and continue, which we'll do, and just when I notice that there, I'll put a couple of returns in front of the press indicate and continue before I run it again. Let's try 7, we should have no remainder, 3 remainder 0, and if I type in something like, let's see, 11, 1 remainder 10. So you can see that the divider is a very handy process for working out whether a number is a whole number or not. An even number or not. In other words, if you were to divide any number by 2, if it's got a remainder, it must be an odd number. If it doesn't, it must be an even number.